I think the best bounty build in most cases is a Dagon 5, more or less, with Blink. I think is what you should do, because then you can weave in and out and get a lot of kills. So I think you go maybe Phase Bottle Wand with Poor Man's, and then Dagon 1 or Blink. Preferably Dagon 1 first. Because I had a Huskar, this was maybe the wrong item build, because it doesn't kill Huskar, but I just don't like the Deso build, because it relies on you being in melee range. And like, if that guy just got a Blink Dagger, I guarantee he would have died like 4 less times, you know? So I think what he should have done was gone like, I think Dagon still would have been okay, because a lot of their heroes were definitely killable, especially like Coddle, for example. Even Pudge. I guess it's not good against Pudge. Let's assume they didn't have like a million anti-magic resistance heroes, or tons of plus magic resistance heroes. I think Dagons, get a Dagon 1, get a Blink Dagger, and then you max out your Dagon, because you're getting a lot of gold from track kills. And then after that you go E-Blade, I think is what you should do. And with the E-Blade it scores you even more kills, you can do more solo killing, and then after that you can go damage items if you want to. I think that's how you should do it, because you get so much gold that I think it's worth it. I think that's the way to do it. Let me see. The Dagon build is just so good, because you don't necessarily want a DPS on Bounty Hunter. It doesn't really work that amazing. Like, his stacking is pretty good, and at some point you can do, like, the old Bounty Hunters used to be like BKB, but I think the Blink Dagon build is so much better, because the amount of gold you get from track is just so high right now. So you can go like Dagons with a Sheepstick or an Abyssal Blade maybe. Abyssal Blade's fine, because it'll transition well into a ganking build, into a carry build from a ganking build. I'd go like Dagons with Abyssal and stuff, and E-Blade maybe. I think that's the better way to do it. I think that build's pretty good. But you definitely need a Blink Dagger, because you can evade a lot of ganks. If you ever get dusted, basically, you just die. Like, if you don't have a Blink Dagger. If they have a Sentry, you just die in most cases, if they cast anything on you. So you need the Blink to dodge animations and run out of their AoEs and stuff. Blink is absolutely core on Bounty, I think. So, alright, I'm going to run ads really quick, and then I'll answer questions. That's it for the day. So I'll be back in just a bit to answer questions, but no more Dota games. Thanks for watching, guys. Just gonna run ads, start answering or asking questions, and I can start answering them. Asking questions and I can answer them. Have I ever thought about being a cam girl? No, actually. I don't know how, but I just haven't. How does Hook interact with the Lotus? It's not a single target spell, so it doesn't work. How many years do I think the average pro has on deck to play in a draft at a tournament? I mean, pro players can play like tons of Dota or tons of different heroes, but whether or not they fit into the drafts is very different, and playing at the highest pro level is sometimes very, very difficult as well. How do you cast Illuminate twice as Coddle? You can't. I mean, you can cast it with your ultimate up, and then you don't have to channel it, but you can't cast it twice at the same time. It doesn't work. I don't know if you can see that or not, but focus on what's important, the cupcake. Center with egg seems a bit strong. I honestly don't think so. I don't think it's that amazing. It's good, but I don't think it's game breaking. Everybody always thinks eggs upgrades are game breaking. Like, when you play with lower level players, they're always like, dude, that eggs is so OP, like, why would Ice Frog put that into the game? Like, the ability that it increases, it's so good, but you're like, yo, you just paid 4,100 gold for that upgrade. Is it really worth it? Like, you have to offset it by the cost. The cost is really important. Does Furion have a place in the pro scene at the moment? Yeah, he does, definitely. How do you stop Undying in a game? He seems really strong. I don't know. Like, he doesn't feel that strong to me. Like, he's very good when I play him, but I feel like I don't know. When I play against him, he doesn't feel that bad. You just have to be really careful about Tombstone, pretty much. And you have to know your limits. You have to be able to burst him down immediately. You have to know whether or not you can kill him. That's the only time you should go on him. Physical damage works pretty good because his armor's kind of low. Um, you just have to kill him right away or kill the Tombstone. Once you kill Tomb, Undyne is not that bad. You just have to kill Tombstone. That's why I killed Tombstone so much in that game. I just targeted the Tomb all the time with Enchant Totem because it was one of the most useful things I could do because it just allows everybody to move freely and Blink Daggers work. And we did have a Gyrocopter, I guess. That's one of the reasons why Undyne maybe it wasn't that bad that game, because Gyro can kill all the zombies. Gyro works really well because Flat Cannon hits everything. I think Ember Spirit can kill them all too, so I guess we had two really good anti-Undyne heroes. What do I think is needed for Ricky to get into high tier competitive play? There was a period around maybe TI2 that he was played sometimes as a carry, and it was okay. He's just not, he's like a ganking carry, and that I don't think that ever really fits into the pro scene very well, because if your ganks go really well, you win the game, but if they go badly, then you kind of lose the game because you have an underfarmed carry. So I feel like Ricky is he just doesn't really fit into competitive drafts or something. That's my guess. I don't really know. Do I still get Vlad's on Brood since it can cap Bite is no longer a unique attack modifier? I mean, I don't think you need Vlad's on Brood Mother at all. It's kind of useful because you can push towers really fast with your spiders because they get 5 armor, but if your opponents have no AoE spells, sure, get a Vlad's, but I think you shouldn't buy Vlad's. It's not worth it. And you still don't need lifesteal on that hero because you have your ultimate for lifestealing. You shouldn't be spending money on lifesteal on Brood, basically. Did I ever play StarCraft 2? Not in a long time. I'll probably play the new campaign, and I might make some videos of it, but I haven't played it in forever. No, I'm not going to do a sub game, sorry. Definitely no sub games today. I'm almost done. Jaw's just trying to tempt me here. Sorry. Will I go back to playing professionally in the future? If I get good enough, I would like to try it again, and I think I've been improving a lot the last couple months. My MMR has definitely gone up, and I feel better at the game. I feel like I know the game a lot better. I can predict things better. I don't feel as flustered all the time. So I think at some point maybe I'll get good enough again, but I'm not expecting it by any means. So if it happens, I would like to, but I don't know if I'll ever get that good. And I don't think I'll have the same opportunity that I had for Korea. Korea was just a good opportunity because the scene was a little underdeveloped, so we actually could be competitive there. Is crit any good on support shaker? On support, no. I mean, the game that I just played was like a good example of like an insanely farmed or shaker game. Maybe not insanely, but really over farmed. I had a good performance there, and I think getting utility items is more important than trying to go for carry items. If you get a Daedalus and it works out, yeah, that's cool. But if you jump in and it doesn't crit, you're like, why did I pay 5,000 gold for this? That could have been a Hex. Like, Hex is... did you see that one fight in the jungle where I initiated on the Shadow Fiend? I Echo Slammed him, and then I Enchant Totemed him, and then I Fissured him, and then I Hexed him. That's like, what, like 7 seconds of disable. I just, like, chain disabled him. He didn't get to pop BKB, he didn't get to ult, I just chain disabled him. That's kind of why I got the item, because it makes you more reliable against BKB carries, and it's kind of like an anti-carry item. It's really good for that, so... I wouldn't spend it on a crit unless you're just trying to dick around. If you're playing seriously, you should get utility. Either an Eggs or a Refresher or an E-Blade or something like that. How should you be building to support Venno? You can go Arcane Mech or you can go Soul Ring Mech maybe. Probably not Soul Ring though. I don't think Soul Ring really works that well with the hero, but it kind of does. I guess if you max scale first. I feel like Venno's in kind of a bad place right now, but he's also kind of good. I don't know. I'm coming around to him a little bit. I've played a couple games against Vennos recently that seemed good. But Vennos, I'm not sure. I think the hero kind of sucks. Well, I'll do more pubcasts soon. Yeah, I'll try to do one this week. Why does Magnus safely not play more? Because he's fine as a mid-hero. Am I going to play? Nope, I'm not playing any more games tonight. Just answering questions before I go. Just got out of a game where Alchemist pwned us really hard. He ate a moon shard and also had one in inventory next to Daedalus and another luxury. What would the best heroes and items be to counter this? That actually sounds pretty good. Moon shard with Daedalus. Sounds pretty good. I feel like Daedalus is a really good Alchemist item, but nobody ever builds it ever. They always get other stuff. But if you go like Abyssal Blade with Daedalus and a moon shard, you'd actually do a lot of damage. You don't have very much HP is the only downside. How do you counter Alchemist? Don't die to him, I guess. The hero is not that strong. He farms really fast, but he has really bad stacking, which has to be compensated with his farm. He's kind of a bad laner as well. He does have a stun, but it's pretty weak right now. It's like, it's okay, but it's not that great. I feel like you could aggressively try lane an Alchemist okay. unless he has two good supports, and then maybe it won't work as well. But Alchemist level 1's kind of crappy. He dies pretty fast, really low armor. Just don't let him get that far. Gank him a lot. When you're ganking him, wait until he uses ultimate, if he has used it, and then when it runs out, that's when you go on him. You can kill him pretty easy. Don't I think Moonshard is kind of an unfair item? No. It's really expensive. How do you improve map awareness? I'm not really sure. I have a lot of trouble. I have a lot of trouble with map awareness. It helps me when I play support because I'm not focusing on last hitting, so I'm watching the map a lot more. You could try increasing the icon size. That didn't really do that much for me personally, but it's kind of useful. I don't really have any tips. Maybe just play more. Some people recommend things like sticky notes and stuff like that, and they said it's worked, but I haven't tried any of that. I can't really help you, unfortunately. I don't really know how to get better map awareness. It's tough. Maybe one way that it's kind of useful is that when I'm looking around the map, I look at the map more to see like where hero positions are. So it becomes more natural to just be kind of glancing at the area is maybe one thing that I could say. Because if that's how you watch your movements, rather than moving your camera there, you can just watch the map. That helps a little bit. So like while I'm moving somewhere, I'll watch the map instead to see where people are and how the fights are developing and stuff. And then if I want to see further information, like I can actually go and click on that hero. I think that's a good idea. Eggs upgrade on Tusk good enough, it does no damage. I don't know, like, you don't have to make the eggs really good. I assume they buffed him in a different way as well. Let me see. Tusk. Yeah, they buffed Tusk in a lot of other ways. They made Ice Shards lower mana cost, they reduced the cooldown, they gave it a lot more vision reveal, the snowball speed is buffed, and they gave him an egg. So you don't have to make the eggs the OP thing on Tusk. They already buffed a lot of other things on him. It's fine that maybe the kick is a bit weak right now. Map awareness is about not being lazy. You just have to identify every part of second that you could do something. That's kind of true. Blitz tried to show me that once when I was in Korea. He was like, this is kind of how I train myself to look at map awareness more. He said, check every single hero's items, like every like 20 seconds, like every enemy hero's items within 20 seconds. And if you don't know where they are, then you should mentally predict where you think they are. That's one way that you could do it. And once you can kind of predict where everybody is on the map, your Dota skill will go up massively, because then you can make good decisions like, oh, we should gank this guy because there's like 4 heroes top probably. Or there are 4 heroes top. That works. Why is Tusk not popular in competitive? He's a support, basically. He's not that good at mid. He's okay at mid, but he's not that good. He's a melee hero. His armor's pretty low. You need a little bit of farm for him to be useful. Snowball's okay. Ice Shards is okay, but he's kind of a crappy hero pre-6. Like, Snowball doesn't do that much, I feel. So he's okay at roaming, but he's just not... There's just better supports. Like, why would you pick Tusk for a roaming hero when you could pick, like, Lion or something like that? And obviously, late game, his Snowball is good against some AoE teamfight ultimates, but in most cases, there's better supports than Tusk. What's the best support? Lion is probably the best one right now. Pro player... What were people picking at Star Ladder? I feel like they're picking Lion or Lina... Blah. Yeah, Lina support a lot. There's a lot of Lina support. Chen is one of the best supports right now. Scarth Mage is sometimes picked if you want to zone people. He's really good at laning, zoning in the lane. Sometimes people pick Bane recently. Witch Doctor occasionally. Again, Lion is probably the best one. Ancient Apparition was picked quite a few times by Chinese teams because of his ultimate setup. So he's picked fairly often. Sometimes Dazzle. We didn't see that much Dazzle at Star Ladder actually. Venge sometimes, but he's been falling off a bit. That's most sports. Earthshaker has been really popular lately, actually. Phoenix sometimes is support. Wisp sometimes has been wrecking, and occasionally we see like Sand King. That's most of the supports that are being played right now in the pro scene. Any requirements for submitting pub games for me to cast? It has to be like less than 55 minutes. I mean, I get way more requests than I do casts, but if it's like 2 hours long, I don't want to cast a pub for 2 hours. There's no way that I can get like full talking out of that, I feel. How can you get out of 1.5k? You just gotta play better, man. That's it. Focus on your issues. You can play support, you can play carries, you can play offlane. Just make sure that you're doing your best to wreck, and you need to do really well. If you want to go up, you have to outperform what your current MMR is. You have to play better than that. So, how did you improve from high 4k to 5k and winning and losing equal amounts of 4.7k at the moment? I just want to get to 5 player mid. I don't know what role you're playing. What helped me was I focused on Dota basic stuff. Like I got better at tri laning. That was really important. That was what pushed me from about 4.7 to like 5K. Nice, dude. Oh wait, this is the band from before. I focused on my tri-lane mechanics. I focused on zoning the offlaner really well. I got better at that. I bought more tangos. That way I could just trade with the offlaner constantly and not have to worry about running out of regen. So I changed that. I zoned the offlane better, and I got better at pulling, missed pulling less. And just by doing that, I increased my MMR by like 300, honestly. And then to go from like about 5K to where I'm at now, like 5.2, I think I got a lot better at ganking and looking for ganks around the map. I played too passive in the past. I would kind of just sit in my lane always. And now I look for smoke ganks after anywhere between like the 10-minute and 30-minute mark. I'm a lot better at smoke ganking in the mid game. Was the biggest improvement there. And my late game decision making is a little bit better as well because I call shots a little bit more. I think that's how I got to 5.2. And now I just need to refine things a little bit more and make a couple less mistakes, and I think I could gain like another 100 MMR or 200 MMR maybe. So what's the difference between like 5.2 and 5.8? 5 is like refinement basically, and you like eliminate your mistakes, I would say. I feel like my base understanding is pretty good right now. I maybe need to sit behind people a little bit more or adapt a bit better to some situations, but I think that's what I'm missing. Do I coach? I thought you wanted some cash. I don't coach right now, I'm sorry. I have too much stuff going on. And over the next couple of months, I honestly don't know if I'll have time because we've got Summit coming up next week, I think. And then TI is pretty soon as well, a couple months. YouTube video on how to micro. I feel like it might just be really short. It's not, I guess I probably should do stuff like that. I've been refraining from making tiny little videos, but I should probably start doing them. Like jungling guides and things. There's nothing wrong with making videos like that. What microphone am I using? It's an Audix OM2, I think. Or you can click down below. I think there's an FAQ link. It's the same audio setup I've had for a very long time. I should maybe upgrade it. But is it okay if I focus on getting party up to 5K instead of solo? Yeah, but I don't recommend it. I mean, it's more fun because you get to play with your friends, but the problem is that when you play party MMR is that it's not very balanced, because everybody, like people on average play less party than solo. I actually play more solo or more party than solo, so my party is pretty high. But for most people, like I was playing with Jaw just now. He started off at like 4.8. He's like still 4.8. We actually gained a lot of MMR today, but he's only 4.8. Look at his solo, it's 5.5. So you might just jump into a game where you have Jaw on your team, and that's like a 600 MMR difference or something like that. So I find that party MMR is not as balanced. When I play solo, like people that play solo play a lot of solo, so their MMR is much more accurate, and even a couple discrepancies of 200 you can really feel. Like I honestly feel like I can understand. Like it's easy for me to predict how good people are on my team sometimes, based on their MMR, because I can kind of gauge their performances. Whereas party's like all over the place, and you might have a game where you have like 2 party guys and they don't try very hard, and you have like 3 solo guys and they try hard. So I feel like solo is a better way to test your skill. Party is more of a fun way that so gives you skill testing. Why isn't Coddle super popular in the pro scene after the buffs? He's a pretty good hero. He's got counter push. He's good at ganking, not ganking, but like moving around the map with vision. I think he's a pretty good hero right now, but he's not like OP. MMR doesn't mean shit. You can either rise to 6K and above, or you can't. I don't know what that means. That's a sentence right there that I don't want to address. How do you improve MMR so you get out of the 1K area? You just got to get better. Don't worry about improving your MMR. Worry about improving your skills at Dota. I know that may sound like an obvious thing, but the reason that your MMR isn't going up is because you haven't gotten better past that level. And maybe you've gotten better at some things, but you're not getting better at everything as a whole. Get better at last hitting. Go practice spot matches where you last hit. Practice pulling and pulling through. You should pull through every single time. Practice your warding. Put them in weird places where people don't expect them. Get better at jungling efficiently. Get better at farming efficiently. Get better at not dying as a support ever. While still farming, while still ganking. Get better at ganking. There's like tons of things that you guys should be getting way better at that will get you out of 1K very easily. It doesn't take that much to get out of 1K. Why do people make fun about me like I was a bad player? I am a bad player, relatively. Like, compared to pros, I'm bad. And I've improved a lot in the last 5 months, maybe, but I was pretty bad last year when I was on Zephyr. I had a lot of trialing problems. I would always be underleveled. The common copy pasta was the one where I'm like level 3 at 6 minutes or something, which is pretty true. It happened a lot. It was because we always messed up our pulls. We weren't very consistent at pulling. We would always we were just bad at trialing because me and Aosin weren't very good at support. We just sucked at pulling. So my levels would always be behind, and then the 10-minute mark would come in, and we'd try to fight, and we'd lose. And then plus we were like super tilted from, just being a little exhausted of losing all the time. So I mean that's why people make fun of me. That's fine. My MMR isn't that bad anymore, and I'm much better now than I was before. So it doesn't bother me that much anymore. If I was still there, I'd be like, oh yeah, I suck. Still level 3 at 10 minutes, but that doesn't happen to me as much anymore. I mean, I'm important to the Dota scene from a YouTuber perspective. From like a pro player perspective, I was really weak. What items do I buy before Eggs on Lone Druid? I don't think you should buy Eggs on Lone Druid in most cases. Leshrac Imba now or no? He's pretty good, but he has counters. He's weak to stuns, and you can gank him pretty easy. I think he's good, but he's not OP. Do I get annoyed when my teammates go clanny builds? Sometimes, yeah, but I mean, they can work. Usually people only buy clanny builds when you're really far ahead, and then it's not that big of a deal. Usually you don't lose those, but you can. How did Blitz go from high 4K mid to a 5 to 7K player? What did he do to improve his mid play? He refined a lot. He just refined a lot, that's the main thing. Died much less, predicted where his opponents would go. He would stay off the map a lot. He would farm enemy jungle. And that way, when anybody came to the safe lane, he could just kill them. He just snowballed a lot. It's a lot about predicting your opponents as well. Watching when the supports are ganking you. If you don't get ganked mid, and you stomp your opponent, because he increases mechanics. So he had even better 1v1s. So he would stomp his opponents almost every single game. He would solo kill them a lot. He'd predict where the supports are going to be. He'd farm really efficiently in the jungle, and then after that, once he had an advantage, then you would solo kill and solo kill and solo kill. Or continue to farm until his opponents try to go high ground, and then he would defend and try to get a kill. Ever considered playing NEL? I play it like once in a while. I play like 2 games every 2 months, kind of a thing. Not necessarily saying that's once a month, but it's pretty rare. I played it a couple times. It's okay. It's pretty fun, but most of the time I'm scared to play there. Am I gonna update my item section of my Dota guide? Yeah, I'll get to that. I have other stuff that is a little more important right now, but I'll get to that. How to escape 4.2k ELO hell. Is everything ELO hell? Again, just get better. 4.2k is kind of an area where I feel like your item builds are not efficient perfectly. Your skill builds are not necessarily entirely efficient, but they're pretty close. And you're probably having a lot of farm issues. 4.2k MMR players can't last it that well, I don't think. So you're having last hitting issues. You're definitely making tons and tons of team fight mistakes and team moving around the map mistakes. There's tons of things. I would say 4.2 is mostly like you're close to refining. You're like starting to really refine your skills, but you're not refined at all, and you're making a lot of team mistakes. Is the main thing you should look at if you're 4.2. That's my guess. How do you balance your hero? Oh, heroine. Okay, I was like heroine. What should you build on Nyx? That's different than usual builds, but still viable for mid game. I think Blink Force is the ideal build. I think that's the best Nyx build. At least Blink. You could go Blink Ags, I guess, but I haven't really seen the Ags seem that useful so far. How do I keep tabs on what's happening in a teamfight? So much crap flashing and exploding on screens, you get lost sometimes. That just comes to playing enough, honestly. You just have to get used to your surroundings, like the resolution you're playing on, your monitor size, your hardware. Once you get used to all that stuff, all of the outside things stop being as apparent, and the more games you play, it just becomes easier and easier to not get overwhelmed. I don't think Alchemist will be seen. No, not just because he can give X. He's situationally useful. The Chinese teams picked him a little bit last patch. He's okay right now, but he's not. I doubt we'll see him played in the pro scene. I think Shadow Demon will be picked up more often now due to his ultimate buff. His ultimate buff was very minor. The bigger buff was the Shadow Poison buff, I think, but the ultimate buff was good. The Egg's ultimate buff was good. I don't know if we'll see him played more. I think he might get abused as a jungler, maybe a jungling support transitioning into a hard support, but I'm not sure. Why is Elk currently not popular and competitive? Bad stacking, low HP, takes a ton of levels to be good. Because you want to max out Acid Spray, and then you kind of want to max out your stuns. So your stun's good, but then your Greevil's Greed is low. So you kind of have to do... I just think Elk is just kind of a lackluster carry, that's all. The headphones I'm wearing, Bear Dynamic MMX 300. I got them as a work gift basically through Ghost of Gamers like 4 years ago. I think they were about €300. And I had to get them repaired when I was in Korea because they broke slightly, but it was only like a $40 repair, so I'll probably get them replaced eventually. The padding is a little bit weak. Do I think the Dota Major is going to have a negative impact on the pro scene? I don't think so. I think it'll be good. How will it affect current system of teams shuffling in place? I don't know. I don't know how the rules will be, but I assume that there will be a little bit less shuffling or something. I mean, even if you think about, if you compare TI2 to what TI is like now, it's very different. Like TI2 was... TI2 had very little roster shuffling. People were scared to change rosters like 4 months before the event. And now people are like, let's make a team like 30 days before the qualifiers and do our best. Like, I mean, most of the times those teams don't pay off, but TI was opened up more and more. The last couple of years, they were letting more and more people into the qualifiers that had brand new teams. So people are kind of like being a little bit more relaxed about it. And we'll see if they change the rules. It may happen. I'm not sure. How do you see to nerf Zeus? I think, didn't Zeus already get nerfed pretty hard? No, he didn't actually. He just lost vision. Zeus. I barely watch any pro games of the new patch. His Thunder God's Wrath area is reduced a little bit. He was barely nerfed. I would say barely. The Thunder God's Wrath area vision was pretty good, but it spots all the heroes anyway, so it doesn't... I think that's pretty irrelevant. I guess it gave better true sight than he really deserved, but... I don't know if they need to nerf him more. Is MMR the most accurate way to measure a player's skill? Yeah, up until like the 5K mark, I think it's the most accurate way by far. It's really accurate. If you actually play enough games, it's pretty accurate. It obviously doesn't tell you exactly what a hero is good, or player is good or bad at, but it's pretty good. How to escape 2.5K? I last hit pretty well, but I will admit I'm sucky at team fights and travel around the map stupidly sometimes. Last hit better then, I guess. You can get better at all those other things that you... I mean, if you think you're bad at those things, and just figure out what you did wrong every single team fight. Like, I blew up really fast there before using my spells. Maybe my positioning was wrong, or maybe they had a vision advantage, or maybe I should have popped my BKB first, or maybe I should have stunned that one guy that was going to stun me before he stunned me. Like, stun him first, then I go on him, and then I don't get chain stunned. You just have to, like, analyze what went wrong in the fights. Zeus with Octarine Core is cool, so much hero damage. Yeah, that's pretty cool. How much do I of an impact Kunkka's buff? I think Kunkka's buff was pretty small. It's pretty small. Very, very small. It's like small to moderate buffs on Kunkka. I don't think he's going to be played. Why does MR stop being accurate above 5K? I mean, it's still accurate above 5K, but... like at that point, the factors such as like what heroes you pick are a little bit more important, I think. I mean, that's not always the case, but heroes that you pick are really important because that's part of winning MMR, right? You have to like pick heroes that are good at pubs. Your MMR is a ranking of how good you are at winning pubs. Well, if you're below 5K, like there's no point putting you in a competitive atmosphere because you're terrible compared to pros anyways, but if you're just playing pubs, I think it's pretty accurate. Once you get above 5K, things get more complicated. Like you could have some player that's really amazing at Meepo, for example, but only knows that one hero, and his MMR is really high, but because he's really good at Meepo, but he's maybe not good at other heroes. That's another thing to keep in mind. If you're only good at one hero, then it kind of makes your MMR maybe not matter as much as you thought it did. What's the biggest problem for new people in Dota that you should work on? Farm inefficiency. I'll show you guys something to make this point. I'll just show you guys basic farming efficiency tips here really quick. You don't get stand. Oh shit! I didn't mean to pick this hero. Oh well. You don't get a pick. You don't get stand-ins for TI qualifiers.
Prepare for battle.
Blink dagger. Now it's on.
Yes.
I could buy a whole Battle Fury and base now, can't I?
Yeah. Onward.
Alright, so let's see. So let's say, for example, this is something that a lot of players do a little badly. They're not very efficient with their farming. I'm still not very good at this. I think I'm kind of close to efficiency, but I'm not really that good. So first things first, let's say like we're way past the laning stage and I have 2 Battle Furies and I'm playing Earthshaker, right?
Enchant.
Boom, alright, I kill the creep wave. I don't feel safe going to the tower. What you should do in the meantime is run to the neutral camps, and you should kill the neutral camps. Oh, this is fun. And blah blah blah. I'm jungling. Obviously, I'm killing this way faster than a normal hero is going to do it, but wow, I actually do so much damage. Blah blah blah. I killed that, and wow, I'm done jungling. I shift back over. The creep wave is here again. What a lot of players might do is just continue pushing the lane, and that's not really the right way to do it. But it's efficient. It's important to go back like between them. And the other important thing that a lot of players don't do is you have to watch the timer a lot when you're jungling, because you have to see when things are about to spawn. Like, for example, if I'm jungling and it ends up being 53 seconds, you don't keep jungling this. You stack it first, because it's going to slightly increase the efficiency of your farming. That's another way to increase your efficiencies slightly. I did that too slow, but you get the idea. So jungle all the camps, blah blah blah, and then as soon as the timer is about to reset,
here I come.
Then you have to.
Echo slam.
Then you back out, and then you go back in. So you have to look at timers a lot. I think that's really important. Watch the timer, see when things are respawning, and then that way your jungling's more efficiency. Or for example, if I'm looking at the map right now, and there's no camps here, I could start here, for example. I don't know. But like, you have to go from camp to camp to camp as they spawn, for example, and move through the jungle efficiently. Or for example, if I'm coming from the mid lane and I'm gonna eventually go to the bot lane, sometimes it's worth it to like stop along the way. Like, oh, I'm already in the mid lane, or I'm already on the way. Why don't I just kill this camp on the way, and then I can shift over. So instead of running all the way across the map to farm, you can get less hits on the way. For example, is something that you can do that's a little bit more efficient. There's a lot of like little things like that. If you just watch like pro players farm. That's probably the easiest way to do it, is just watch a pro player farm. Because they're always gonna do it so efficiently.
Your middle tower is under attack. The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
It's basically kill all the things. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you have to do it really efficiently, otherwise you're not gonna get value from it. It's pretty important.
Let's roll.
Let's see if I attack faster now.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
That's pretty fun. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Farm efficiently, go from camp to camp, look for stacks as a carry. It's a lot more straightforward to play cores than it is, at least safe lane carry than it is other ones. Am I going to upload your tips video thing? I mean, I might take all this, yeah, and make it into a video, we'll see. Thank you for modding Ginger Snaps. Everything you do is so wonderful. Legit Truth too, thank you for modding. Chachi, thank you for not modding. Why is the Wind Ranger played right now? I don't know. She's okay. She's picked sometimes. What would a 5k player's win rate be at 1.6k? Probably like 99.9%. It'd be very, very high. There's a very low chance of winning those games, especially if you're playing mid. If you're playing like a support role, I would just play like Lion or Witch Doctor or something. I would get a lot of kills already. Maybe even play Undying or something. You just need something really high impact that way. If you play like, who's a good example? Like an Abaddon or something. If you're playing like support Abaddon, you're gonna have a bad time because you can't really leverage as well. But if you're playing like even Dazzle can play really aggressive early. It's not necessarily a good example, but heroes that can scale really well with that advantage, you can buy nags online or something, or a blink in nags online, and you go around getting a lot of kills. With Wish Doctor, you can buy nags on Wish Doctor and get a lot of kills. If you're playing like Chen or something, like you might peek off. You know, if you're playing Chen at a low MMR, it's probably better to play something that has easier control over the game. Or you could even play like a silly support, like play support Wraith King or whatever, and get so many kills that you translate into a carry, and then eventually translate into a carry. Something like that is a good idea. Alright, I think that's it for me. I'm kind of repeating a lot of questions now, so thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Pretty good stream today. Got a lot of MMR. If I look at my game history, see what we got. We won almost all the games, except for my first one. My first game I lost, so I gained 100 MMR today, more than that. I was down at 62, 50-62, and I'm at 51.95, so that's pretty good. I got 130 MMR. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.